well, getting ready to go live as well on, there we go, YouTube on the Comedy Schools channel. We're now live on ComedySchoolsRadioNetwork.com, and we are live on YouTube. And now we're going to go live, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to complete the trifecta of platforms that we share on. And we are now live on Facebook Live. Not one, not two, but three, ladies and gentlemen, three ways for you to be able to access us and check us out in the middle of the day. This is a show called Living on a Thin Line. Should be able to say my own show. Living on a Thin Line. We bring it to you every day. How come that looks, you know what, this, I don't know, Facebook's a little dark here. What are you going to do, though? This is your 2 p.m. daily distraction from all the hoopla, anxiety, and insanity going on in the world, and also all the hoopla, anxiety, and insanity that so often seems to come to us either on our television screens or via social media. I have reduced my news watching time. I still watch the news probably more than the average person has. Maybe not now, but for many years, I still watch the news. I read it voraciously on social media, but really, really cutting down on so many of my friends and family, and this is all of us, have become experts. And of course, their expertise then pushes towards whatever their point of view is, whatever their fear is, or whatever their desire is. So you may have noticed I used to comment on politics quite a bit. I enjoy following politics, but I pretty much reduced my comments on it. And if I am going to comment, I'm going to come into my lane, you know, as a joke writer. I'm not an editorialist. I'm not a pundit. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a professor. I'm not a scientist. And so why would I attempt to opine in those matters unless I wanted to then go in and divine enough knowledge in those matters or enough experience in those matters? I'm a joke writer. I'm a comedian. I'm a fella, damn it. I'm just a fella. And I'm going to do what I can to keep home and hearth and health together for me and for my family and you. And one of the things that we do is this show every day at 2 p.m. And I'm so glad all of you are watching. We got a couple things going today. I always show you some little memorabilia I got around here. Hello, Tina and Mike Lawson, Charles Kaminsky, Kelly Wilson, Colleen Pirtle, Bruce Hepler. I have not used your picture yet, Bruce. I'm sorry. David Van Winkle, Tom Levance, Sam Gaines. These are all people that have checked in and said hi. There's two or three things we do today. We interface with you. That is most important. If you got anything to say or any questions to ask or anything to add, we're going to interface with you. Of course, all you have to do is type it in. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Comedy Schools Radio Network, or if you're on Facebook Live, and we'll attempt to answer you or engage in a convo. Also, I show you a piece or two of memorabilia or a knickknack or an autograph memento that I have here in my house. This is under my philosophy of during this time of quarantine, we have to make old things new again. There's two ways to be creative. Two ways. Okay, see, you can learn a skill. You can learn basket weaving or guitar or so many other skills. But there's the technique. But then there's being creative. So how do you become creative? Here's how you become creative. Here's a great way to do it. You look at old things in a new way. So things you haven't paid attention to, things you take for granted, and really look at them and ask yourself questions about them. And through that, you can divine a lot of interesting answers. They can be turned into a song or a poem or a joke or a movie or a conversation. And the other way is to look at new things without judgment. And boy, oh boy, that's the tough one. The tough one is to look at new things without judgment. We have so many preconceived tapes running in our skulls that tell us what is right and what is wrong. Tell us what is good and what is bad. They're preconceived. And half the time before we enter any situation, we have already made decisions about whether it is good or bad or right or wrong. And very little can change our mind. But if you really want to be creative, when you enter into a new situation or when you are asked to hold a new idea, okay, don't preconceive it. See how it affects you. That's how you become creative. That's how you work towards creativity. Anyway, one of the things I thought is we got to make old things new again because Americans, I think what we've discovered is that we love stimulation. We love it. You can make a stimulation joke here. You can make it about electricity or penises. But we love stimulation. Sports and movies and arguing and politics and we need new things all the time. And the amount of new things that are available to us have decreased to a great extent. So one of the things that we're doing new is doing this show for you. Okay. And the other thing that I'm doing new is then going back and rediscovering little things that got laying around that I think are so very cool. Now, here's something I found. And it's cool to me. I don't know if it's be cool to you. It's two things. Okay. All right. So I found this. I forgot all about it. What is that? That is a ticket. Yes, it is. It's not a traffic ticket. It's obviously an event ticket. All right. And what is it? It is round B, home game 3. Cost me $55. Los Angeles Clippers versus to be announced at Staples Center. And this was all the way back in 2003, 2004, when the Clippers were, for a brief moment in their long history being bad, were good. Now, my daughter and I have been going to Clippers games since she was, maybe it was 2006, I believe. Yes, we've been going to Clipper games since she was a little kid. We are Clipper fans. This was the only NBA final playoff game that I'd ever been to, and I took my daughter, and they played the Los Angeles Lakers and beat them, and then went to play the Phoenix Suns in the next round and lost to them. But that was the deepest in the paint the Clippers had ever been in the playoffs up to that point. They went back to being terrible for a while until they acquired Blake Griffin and Chris Paul, and now they are the wonderful team that they are with Kawhi Leonard. Chris and Blake both gone with new owners. But that was an NBA playoff game. I'll never forget that. And once the Clippers had Blake Griffin and Chris Paul, I kept going, all right, when they get to either whenever they get to the NBA finals, I'll go, or when they get to the last round, before the finals, I'll go. And they never made it that far. This other ticket I'm going to show you, look at this, a little older. All right, look at that. I just found this as I was kind of digging around going, what will I show people today? What is this a ticket to? This is aisle 12, row N, seat 17. League championship game, $20, top deck. Parking lot 2, 7, 12, or 21. Dodgers Stadium, 1985 National League Championship Series. Dodgers versus Eastern Division. And who were they playing? They were playing the St. Louis Baseball Cardinals. So I don't have the exact date on this because it's not on there. But obviously, that was in 1985. That was the year I got sober. That was the year I started out as a stand-up comic. And my brother Jerry and I went to see our Cardinals play the Dodgers in 1985. And that was pretty cool. The Cardinals went on, I believe, that year to, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, okay, they went on that year to play the Kansas City Royals in what was known as the Freeway Series and lost to the Royals. They'd won in 82 against the Brewers and then lost in 85 to the Royals. But we were there for the National League Championship game, and finally in 2004, I got to go to a World Series game. So that's your little memorabilia for the day. Something for you to look at. A 2006 Clippers ticket, a 1985 Dodgers Cardinals ticket. So we got those. Now let's get to the music, okay? Oh, a couple things. I told you yesterday that I would be putting up the link for this Sunday's Tony Vicich Presents, and I didn't do it. I got caught up in other stuff. I haven't finalized the lineup. It'll be up tonight, this Sunday night, 7 p.m. on Zoom in your room. Coming to you from me, okay, sitting in my bedroom next to my TV, and a little poem for you today, will be Tony Vicich Presents Sunday Night's Funnier Mother's Day edition. That'd be a cool thing, by the way, if you are you're not near your mother right now, like you're in Illinois, your mother's in Florida, buy her a ticket to this Zoom show, and you'll be able to see each other on Zoom together while watching this show. Sunday Night's Funnier. I always have a hard time pronouncing my own stuff. Sunday Night's Funnier with featured comic Diane Miner. I'll be putting up all those links this evening. Buy a ticket to that show. You'll be glad you did. You'll be supporting the comics on the show. They get paid out of the show, and local food banks here in my area. Okay, so do that. Also, just to get this out of the way, we put up the links yesterday, or put up the how you can join one of our workshops. Pretty big advanced workshop right now. We're going to have a free show for you on May 22nd featuring this workshop. If you ever thought about doing stand-up comedy, if you are a stand-up comic, you want to brush up your skills, if you are just missing the creative aspect and working with others, we offer a great platform to be able to help you out. May 27th for the advanced class, May 28th for the beginning class. All the information is on comedyschools.com and comedyschoolsradionetwork.com. Easy to register. Once you register, you get your Zoom links, and you'll learn more in just a couple of sessions with us than you would a year of open mic nights or talking shit with a bunch of people in the back of a bar. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the music. Oh, okay. Nope. Let's go on. Forgot. One other thing. The list. I'm trying to finish this list so we can go on to other lists. Hold on. And what is the list? The list is the 10 coolest people ever. The 10 coolest people ever. So far on the list: Miles Davis, Keith Richards, James Dean, Frank Sinatra, Steve McQueen, Prince, and Humphrey Bogart. Those are sank. Those are in stone. Okay. Put them in the mail them off. They're done. They are on the list. That means 3 spots are remaining. Now, let me give you all the maybes, and that list is really expanded. Katharine Hepburn's on the list. Denzel Washington's on the list. Jack Nicholson's on the list. Anybody who played James Bond is on the list. Sidney Poitier's on the list. Lauren Bacall, Tina Turner, Chuck Norris, Samuel Jackson, Bruce Lee, John Kennedy, Richard Pryor, Buddy Rich, me and my brother Jerry, Elvis Presley, Muhammad Ali, Billie Holiday, Charles Bronson, Sean Connery, and Dean Martin. Now, when they say any Bond, I don't know that, I don't know that George Lazenby, that's talking about anybody who played James Bond, George Lazenby or David Niven would be on that list, along with Timothy, what the hell's his name? The guy who was on Remington Steele. I don't know if they would be cool enough to be on the list. Maybe George Lazenby. He was kind of cool in that. But Sean Connery, yes. Somebody said, why are there women on the list? But early on, Billie Holiday was on the list. And, of course, we now have Katharine Hepburn and Lauren Bacall and Tina Turner and Prince. So here's who's gotten votes so far. They're not just mentioned. Dean Martin, Sean Connery. Dean Martin's gotten 2. If you count the time he was nominated, 3. Sean Connery, we're counting the times he got nominated. Sean Connery's got 2. I've got 2. My brother Jerry's got 2. Jack Nicholson's got 2. And Denzel Washington has 3. So I'm still waiting for people to chime in. I'm still waiting for people to vote. I'm still waiting for people to tell me who these final 3 should be. And when it's done, we'll post them on Facebook, start a big Facebook fight. We'll get right-wing and left people, right-wing talking to people about it. And people putting up fake videos, from right-wing sites, and people put up shit from fake websites. Go, no, this is the coolest guy. It'll be great. We'll cause some trouble. Okay, so I'm still waiting to hear from you guys on these. Oh, wow, look at this. I had other people joining, and I didn't know. It got stuck. I am sorry. Hold on. Let me get down here. Wow, it got stuck, and I didn't see all these other people joining. Champ, hello. Randy, hello. Scott Hughes, hello. Kevin Brown, Anthony Paris, everybody who's waving. Kelly Wilson says, if I got Pryor, I got to have Lenny Bruce. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Lenny, I don't have my pen with me. I'd write Lenny down. But keep in mind, we're talking about cool, an overall thing, not just the work they did, Is Bob Dylan on this list?
I mentioned him and nobody said anything. So.
Do you have a pen, Joe? Bob Dylan's not on the list and Lenny Bruce is not on the list. They got to be in the maybes. They got to. So, so I don't know, Kelly, if that's then you want to add Lenny Bruce to the list of maybes to be voted on, or if you're voting, if you're giving us a Richard Pryor vote. I don't know. Okay, I haven't picked that up. It's going to be tough, these final three. And what I've noticed, too, is that when I mentioned the top seven, so we're going to put down Lenny Bruce and Bob Dylan. Lenny Bruce and Bob Dylan. And, man, you know what? Shirley started making this list. It was nice and neat. And then, okay, I haven't heard anyone say that any of the people who are already on shouldn't be. Someone said Miles Davis. Safe there. So we can take our time with this. I'm not in any big rush, you know. But if you've got someone if you got someone else you think should be on the list, or someone who I've mentioned who you want to vote for, let's hear that.
I thought somebody voted for Muhammad Ali.
You think we had a second vote for him? But Shirley's thinking that there was so Champ de Blasio is giving us a vote for Lenny Bruce, so now it's 2 for Lenny. 2 for Lenny. You know, I had to start showing you guys my Lenny Bruce album collection, which is extensive. Jim Lacey says, if we're just voting for cool, and then folks who were cool and talented and skilled and lovable, et cetera, kind of put us in another direction. Just cool should just be cool. Yeah. Then Bruce Hepler says, Johnny Depp is way better than Lenny. Yeah, but Lenny wasn't a stand-up comic. I mean, I'll put Johnny Depp on the maybe list. Okay? So that happens when you get involved with cool. Yeah, then there's all these battles of what the criteria should be and stuff. I just want to hear from you guys. I just want to hear what you think. Okay. So we got this big list here. While you guys are pondering, let's get to the music I'm going to recommend today. All right. In the spirit of making old things new again, I have been going through my vinyl collection, which has been sitting gathering dust for many years. Okay, but a long time ago, somebody said, you know, your albums are you, Tony. When I was younger, they said that is the story of your life. But over the years, Johnny Depp. Yeah, Bruce, we put Johnny Depp, but you can't. You put Johnny Depp, Bruce. We put him on the maybe list. He is on the maybe list. Okay, but now we got to have votes. Okay, Jim Lacey's talents like Bob Dylan are special. They're immensely talented, but also totally cool. Yeah. So Jim, are you voting for Bob Dylan? Because eventually, you know, right now, the people on the maybe list who have the most votes are Dean Martin and Denzel Washington. Because that means that someone nominated them, and so far 2 people have voted for them. So right now, Bob Dylan's been nominated on the maybe list, but there's no votes. Lenny Bruce was just nominated on the maybe list and got a vote. It's going to get tough. You voted yesterday for Dean Martin. Okay, that's right. Jim voted for Dean Martin yesterday. So Dean and Denzel have the most votes. I don't know. I got to come up with eventually a closure number. Okay, if they get this many votes. But if I tell you guys that, then a bunch of you will just keep voting over and over. All right, let's get to the music. My vast, everything is old, new again. Music was important to me. Here we go. Bam. Bam. Okay. Do you recognize that? It's kind of hard to see because of lighting today. I apologize. It's a great album cover. Diane, I'll know you cannot vote for Denzel twice. You already voted for Denzel. Let's not be causing voting irregularities and then have the Attorney General of Kansas coming down and going, what are you hippies doing? This album, if you are of a certain age, you know this album. This was part of the soundtrack of your life. And it is Steely Dan's Can't Buy a Thrill. Pretty wild album cover. Great. It exploded into our lives. Bruce Hepler says, no, I'm vote for Dean. So, Bruce, are you voting for Dean or not voting for Dean? Because I can't divine it from that sentence. Please let me know. On this album, of course, Do It Again. You go back, Jack, do it again. King's Midnight Cruiser. Only a fool would say that. Side 2 kicks off with The Monster, song that we all immediately know, Reeling in the Years. Then Fire in a Hole, Brooklyn, Changing the Guard, Turn That Heartbeat Over Again. That was this entire album. The 2 monsters on it, of course, were Do It Again and Reeling in the Years. Do It Again was, it says, traditional solos by Denny Diaz and Donald Fagen. So I don't know what that meant. Vocals by Donald Fagen. And in side 2, Reeling in the Years, lead guitar by Elliot Randall. So one of the guys one of the unsung stars of our era was a guitarist named Elliot Randall, because that killer guitar solo on Reeling in the Years was done by Elliot Randall. Here is who made up the band at the time: Jeff Skunk Baxter, guitar, pedal steel guitar, and Spanish. Jeff Skunk also did great work with the Doobie Brothers. Walter Becker, of course, Denny Diaz, Donald Fagen, Jim Hutter, Dave Palmer, with Elliot Randall, Victor Feldman, Jerome Richardson, Snooky Young on flugelhorn, Clyde King, Shirley Matthews, and Vanetta Fields, background vocals, and it was produced by a guy named Gary Katz. So Skunk Baxter did a lot. Okay, all right, so hold on. I got another vote here. Bruce Hepler is voting. So we now got 4 for Dean. Yeah, 4 for Dean. We're getting close. We're getting close to moving Dean Martin over to coolest. And I kind of thought, as we put together a list of cool, that it was going to kind of lean towards that group. Already with Frank Sinatra, James Dean, people from that era. Anyway, man, if you haven't listened to this album, go back and listen to this album, or just YouTube again, Reeling in the Years. YouTube, do it again. You'll be glad you did. Such great tunes. If you can listen to them on some great speakers, man, there's so much stunning little stuff going on these songs that maybe you didn't pick up the first time. You don't pick up when you're listening on the radio. Great album. Now I got something for you. Now I might get in trouble for showing this one. Okay? But I want you to check this out. This is the English version of this album. It doesn't mean the music's changed. It means the album cover changed. So look at that. Look at that. What is that? That's a picture of a bunch of naked ladies. Well, he showed us naked ladies. No. This is the English album cover to Jimi Hendrix Experience, Electric Ladyland. This is the Electric Ladyland album. And here, of course, look at this. How cool is that? Look at that inner slave. Check out that inner slave. Look at that art. Look at that. There he is. Now, when this album was put out in America, they would not use this album cover. They would not allow them to sell that in stores, and they had to have a completely different album cover. Let me tell you what was on this. Side A, And the Gods Made Love, Electric Ladyland, Crosstown Traffic, Voodoo Child. Oh, man. Side B, Little Miss Strange, Long Hot Summer Nights, Come On, Gypsy Eyes, Burning the Midnight Lamp. Side C, because this was a 4-record, two album thing with 4 sides. Rainy Day, Dream Away, 1983. Moon Turns the Tides. And on side 4, or side D, as they call it here, Still Raining, Still Dreaming, House Burning Down, All Along the Watchtower, Voodoo Child, Slight Return. So the big monsters on this, to me, were Voodoo Child and All Along the Watchtower. The first time I ever heard a Jimi Hendrix song was at my grandmother's house, my great-grandmother's house in North St. Louis. We're having some sort of family gathering, which I miss desperately having right now with my family. And she had one of those old stand-up radios, which I have a few of now because I collect radios. And I had flipped the dial, and all of a sudden I hear, and I go, what is that? What is that? And I don't know how old I am, 10, 11, 12, late 60s. And I'm just fascinated by this song. And eventually one of the grown-ups came over, what's that crap? Turn it on. And put on I don't know, Dean Martin. So, but I went, wow. And All Along the Watchtower is the perfect amalgamation of 60s genius Jimi Hendrix doing his version of a Bob Dylan tune. And it is just a stunning, stunning piece of work. So I am proud of the fact that I have the British version here. People go, that's probably worth some money. It's probably worth some dough. It probably is. But you know what? I'm not selling it. I'm keeping it. Because I'd rather have the memories than the money when it comes to stuff like this. Just like I'm glad that I have the memories of sharing this with you guys every afternoon. I enjoy it very, very much. What are you looking at, Cheryl? What's the problem?
Oh, those albums are going to fall off.
No, they look like they might. Hold on. We got so much stuff going on in here. I got stuff I got to fix in here. All right, you know what? That's it for the day. Here's your takeaways. Go back and revisit Steely Dan's Reeling in the Years. Go back and listen to Voodoo Child and All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix. I mean, after a number of years, these become songs in the background. They're on some classic rock station. We're in the car. We're not really listening because we're driving. Take a moment, go back and revisit what you once loved. Take a moment, if it's new to you, really let it sit with you and see if it's as good as we say it is. Take a moment to savor things. Savor the moment. Savor the moment. If there's any opportunity that this current time gives us, it is the ability to savor the moment. All right? All right, this Sunday night, ladies and gentlemen, I'll put up the link today. I'll put it up within the hour. I swear to God. This Sunday night, Tony Vicich presents Sunday Night's Funnier Mother's Day special with very funny mother and comic Diane Miner and a host of other very talented people. Tickets only $10. You'll be able to buy them with the link that I post. You'll be able to do that. Also, if you ever thought about doing a workshop, and you should, because you want to find new things to do, new ways to keep your mind occupied, new ways to be creative, go to comedyschools.com or comedyschoolsradionetwork.com. And you'll be able to register there and join our beginning class, which begins May 28th, 5 weeks, 5 Thursdays, or our advanced class, if you qualify, and you have to qualify for that one, May 27th. All classes at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, all on Zoom. Tomorrow we'll talk about the slow opening. We're seeing this stuff. A couple comedy clubs are going to try to do a slow opening. What we're thinking about that as well. All right, for my producer, it was me, my wife, Shirley Lowe Vicich. Okay, and for all the incredible people who have put together all this internet shit that allows us to do this, I want to thank them too. Okay, they might be unsung heroes in the corona crisis because they were able to keep us connected. I want to thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. unless you're in my workshop, like a couple of you are, and I'll see you at 6 p.m. tonight. I'm Tony Vicich. You're whoever you want to be. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Goodbye, YouTubers.